This was a giant
Jesus, I
mistake.
can't see
William
shit
couldn't
because
comprehend
I
this.
fucking
This
died. I
wasn't
don't know
meant to
how,
happen.
but
She should have listened. No, he should have made it happen. No,
Wait,
she
pick
shouldn't
you
have
up.
been so stubborn.
Which
No,
one,
yes, no.
holy
William couldn't put together a
shit.
single coherent thought in his mind. A psycho
need
raising
dog.
a loved one is not going to go
Dog?
well. He shut
Yeah,
the
yeah.
restaurant instantly,
Alright.
and for a whole night he looked into Circus Baby's lit green eyes. If anyone can
Let's go.
retell this story in these events the best, it's Circus Baby herself.
I was in a small
Yo, why am I dying so
room
easily,
with
bro? What the
balloons
fuck is
and a
this?
few tables. No one sat at the tables, though.
I
The
need
children
this.
would run in and out. I would
let's
always
go.
count the children. I'm not sure why.
Alright.
I was always
Easy one phase.
acutely aware of how many there were in the room with me. I can do something special. Did you know that?
God, this is so
I can make
bad.
ice cream. Although I only did it once.
We got this shit.
There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Something
right.
happened, and there was one.
Get him.
A little girl, standing by herself. I was no
Smiling.
longer
Alright.
myself, and I stopped singing. My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least, not until she
Damn.
stepped closer. There was
Some
screaming
good damage
for a
right
moment,
there.
but only for a
Amazing
moment.
damage.
There you go.
Then other
damage.
children
Where were we
rushed
going?
in
Where are we
again.
going, Keitel?
They couldn't
Left.
hear her over the sounds of their own excitement. I still hear her sometimes. Why did that
Bitch.
happen?
William. William
Ah,
was why
fuck,
that
I
happened.
control my thing.
All William could think of was his darling daughter, now lost to his own creation. Immediately,
Easy
he
one,
tells Evan
Freddy.
and Michael to no longer visit any animatronics that are offline or on, especially not alone. There was no chance he would let another
rid of
child
these
of his
now.
be lost to any one of his creations. William knew Michael was old enough that the animatronics wouldn't kill him, although he still warned him away. But
my
William
middle
must have
shot.
raised his children wrong. As
Oh,
Evan
matter.
becomes stubborn
W,
and
easy.
decides to go to
Yeah,
Fredbear's
man.
family diner either
Did you
way.
not
Okay,
matter?
we got it.
Obviously
Oh.
without his father's permission,
see that.
but unknowingly to Evan, William
Nope.
knew about this. He's the co-owner of the
Yo, I
Of course he would
fucking
know.
helmet.
So knowing that stubbornness,
Helmet and
ignorance,
chest, bro, like
arrogance,
what?
Yo,
as well as
same,
his
dog.
death, and seeing
Bro.
Evan follow in our footsteps.
Crazy
William crafted a
reward.
plan that would hopefully
Bro, I
stop
can't lie,
Evan
this
from
is so
visiting
worth
the
it, bro.
restaurant for
Fuck,
good.
this
It
is
really
so
is.
worth it.
One
The
midnight,
legendary
Evan woke to the
Stars
sound of
Farm
someone
go
walking
crazy.
down his bedroom halls. Evan hopped out of bed and ran towards his door, opening it slightly.
Man.
He saw a nightmarish
I'm
version
just
of
lost
the
for words.
animatronics he watched William build. Evan
I
slammed
just
the door
want to
shut,
stay
and
on
after
pulse
hearing
right,
more
let me
footsteps,
go
he
get the
reopened
pulse
the door
rifle
and the
and eat.
animatronic was gone. But then he heard rattling coming from his bed. William
Okay,
monitored
alright.
Evan
I'm
to
fine with the
underground
storm chaser
location
I
he was
have.
yet to open to the
It's-
public
I'm
or
not,
anyone.
bruh.
He made sound risks, which
I'm
include
assuming the
a
fact that I'm probably
frequency
never
just
gonna get the
outside
sword,
of the
bro.
normal range
Oh.
of a human
Nah, fuck
hearing.
the sword,
This
bro. It's all about
frequency
storm
is used to overload the human
Bro,
brain.
that pulse
So
and the
the
pulse
okay.
perception of
rifle.
whatever the
Missed.
emitter wants
I
them
think
to
I have a
see.
decent
He
to good
exists
roll,
to
bro.
create
Like
illusions
I don't
of
care.
animatronics
Like,
that
bro,
he
I just want
knew
a sword.
Evan had
I just
seen.
want the
Hey,
sword.
I
make sure
could
Evan
deal
never
without
went back to
whatever
Fredbear's.
other
William
roll I got
knew
on
Evan
it.
would think
It
that
really
these were
doesn't do anything,
nightmares
but
that he could strangely remember. But William made sure all
Freddy
of
broke.
it actually
Fix
happens
it,
to Evan when he's
firing
awake,
line,
so
what-
he remembers them more quickly to keep
with
the
that.
fear level raised.
Right,
He would
just
make sure the illusions
one
disappear
sword.
at
Actually, if
6
I can
a.m.
get a
each night,
firing
a
line,
time which
or-
Evan would begin to treasure. During the day, Evan would go to Fredbear's slightly more scared each time. William's plan was
Okay, guys,
working.
like-
Michael, Evan's older
bro,
brother,
like-
unknowingly to himself,
What
was
will we get
actually
faster, a
helping
sword or a
William
good
during
storm
all this.
chaser?
9
Continuously
hours
scaring Evan
of
with a
this
foxy
grinding,
mask.
bruh.
William
That's
saw
crazy.
this
Nah,
as an
we
okay
gotta
thing
get
to
us
do
to it,
and
right?
allowed
We gotta-
this to
we have
happen
to.
during the daytime, as
We
it would
have
help
to.
Evan be
Destiny-
more
No way we
afraid
don't.
to go back to
Destiny should be
Fredbear's.
like, yo, like, these
William
guys been playing for, like,
encouraged Michael to
9
do this,
like, to
and he
8
would be
hours, they
monitoring
start-
They giving us a
Like,
lot
the
of
eyes of
they put in a
Fredbear.
lot of hours in our game,
But
bro.
Michael didn't
Yeah.
do
Give 'em the
the
good
same
shit.
reasons as
They
William.
should, they really
He did
should.
it because he
They
was
should
a
see
bad
our
buffer.
grind.
Michael organized Evan's
The
birthday
grind never
party to
stops
be at
with us, bro,
Fredbear's,
for real.
and he told all the kids in town
Yeah.
about it.
Bro,
After Evan
until
talks
we
to the
get what
kids,
we
he
need.
I want to get
goes
the
inside
sword,
his
yeah.
house to find William
I wanna
and
get a
talk
good
to him
sword
about
chaser,
it.
bro.
But Michael gets him first and scares
Yeah,
him
honestly,
again
let's
with
make
the
it a
foxy
competition.
mask.
Whoever gets
Michael
scored
knew
first gets
that
to
he
go to
could
bed.
get Evan inside
Okay.
the diner if
Bet.
he
Really?
wanted to, by just
Yeah,
being
you-
himself, the bad
whoever
brother.
gets served
Michael
scored
would have
first
to
gets to go
bully
to bed.
Evan inside the
I'm
diner
down.
for his party. So he gave it a try the next day to make
Okay.
sure he could.
Alright.
And by the
Now,
end of
but
it, he ended
we're
up
never
will we
going
get
inside
faster
inside the
though?
back room of the diner
A sword
for
or a
few
good
minutes.
storm
Alright,
chaser?
alright.
After letting Evan out to
Why'd I
run
send
and
that?
cry back
Don't ex-
home,
he's not-
Michael knew what had to happen the next day for his party. Evan would be more scared than
Okay.
ever to go back after
Let's make the
today,
challenge
and
a
maybe
little
not
bit
even Michael
easier.
could bully him into the diner. So
Whoever
Michael
gets the
thought for
thing
a
they
long time
want.
and planned his next moves.
Yeah,
as
I
the
want a
night
sword.
fell.
So like
Or a
what?
sword.
Sword chasing.
Michael brought 3
A sword
friends
or
along.
whatever you want.
If Michael himself
Okay.
couldn't bully Evan to the
Sword.
diner, maybe 3
That's a
more bullies
disadvantage for
just
you.
like him could.
Yeah, I
they
like
did
that.
exactly
Sorry.
that. They
Sorry.
forced Evan into the diner for his party. Evan pleaded to them all,
And I'm
saying
3
he
hours
wants
ahead
to
of you,
leave,
okay?
but Michael only
this shit.
suggested Evan got closer to the 2 Springlock suits. He knew getting Evan
Alright.
face to face with the animatronic would scare
Alright.
Evan the most. So
Thumbs
they
up, let's
picked
do
Evan
this.
up from the ground and carried him. Evan was shaking like crazy, pleading to them all that he didn't want to go. He
Oh,
didn't
we
want to
got
be there. He didn't want to meet
Sun.
them.
What's the other one?
But
X.
they
Sun and
kept
X. Sun and X.
walking closer and closer to Fredbear and Spring Bonnie until they were right in
Damn.
front of their stage. Michael suggested Evan wants to kiss Fredbear, so the 4 of them move Evan off of their arms and they force his head and half his body to
Honestly,
be inside of
running
Fredbear's
down
mouth.
or
For
everything
Michael,
that-
this was the
Yeah,
best
ready
he
when
could
you
do
are.
to scare Evan. Have him
Yeah, I'm
right
ready.
inside the thing he feared the most. Evan was crying and
Perfect.
shaking like he never had
Perfect.
before, and Michael even felt some form of sympathy for him, and they watched it happen right in front of them, and they laughed. One thing that no one knew besides William and Henry about the Springlock suits, which Evan was now trapped inside the mouth of, were that Springlock failures could occur. These would happen when the locks
Not yet,
that
not
are
yet.
holding the
There we go.
endoskeleton in the folded position to allow
Oh, I
the
thought
human
they
to be
just
in the
pushed
suit
me out of it, and I was.
This causes the endoskeleton to spring into its usual position, and anyone caught inside the suit when this happens will be impaled. and
Dog
crushed
and
by
what?
parts.
Sun. I'll
There are
get
2
Sun.
known
Okay.
reasons Springlock failures can occur. One of these is when the Springlocks interact with water and moisture.
Oh,
For
you-
this reason, employees must
tried
not wear
throwing
the
my
suit in
smoke,
rooms with too much
but I
moisture in the
punched him.
air. The second way these accidents can occur is when an employee fails to correctly wind the Springlocks all the way up, causing them to burst on the person inside. William Henry knew
Fair.
about these
Interesting.
and always made sure to handle them correctly to avoid any fatal injuries to other staff and themselves. Evan's rivers of tears poured onto Fredbear's Springlock suit, which caused the Springlocks to interact with water and moisture, causing Fredbear to spring
not good.
into its usual position,
Fuck.
which intended Fredbear's mouth being shut. So
God
Fredbear's
damn
mouth shut with Evan
losses.
inside of it, causing Fredbear to break Evan's skull and cause fatal damage
I was
to
like
his
the
head.
Alright,
Fredbear
good.
essentially bit
Wombo
down
combo
onto him in the
essentially
span of
right
a
there,
bro.
second.
Yeah, so
Michael
your
We're
name
gonna
is
have to go
Rize
back.
Enthusiast, right?
as blood
Like-
dripped from the suit. William
Is
was
Rize
thinking about
an-
what
an
happened
enemy
when he
character?
rushed to the diner.
Yeah.
It was panic.
Oh, what
A
the
mad
fuck?
scramble to save
Wrong
Evan from
timing.
death.
Wait,
William
from
was
what
saying,
anime?
"Please,
Oh,
anything
man.
you can think of." All
Oh,
rushed to the
yo,
diner,
the
and
enemy's about to
Evan
come
was
out,
sent to
bro.
hospital
I'm
and
excited.
Yeah, I know. I already
William
read
had
it.
no
It's
time
amazing.
to blame Michael nor himself.
bet. Is it
He
better
went to
than-
the hospital
than
and watched as Evan
Jujutsu
was
Kaisen?
in a coma. Throughout Evan's
That's hard
coma,
to
he had
say,
one
'cause they're very
unending,
different.
seemingly endless
I bet.
nightmare. It was like the nights he
Can't
had
wait, bro.
just been going through this past week. He started out his
But
bed
they were
and
both
tried
very
to survive
good.
being hunted
I
by
bet.
nightmarish animatronics. This was different.
Did you put
Every
yours
other
down?
usual animatronics would be
Yeah, I did.
was something he had
Alright,
never
we need to
seen
go back
before.
in.
Something he feared the most, and something he
Yeah,
was
ready?
changed by forever. It was a nightmarish version of Fredbear. After a long day of waiting, William brings in the Fredbear plush he used to monitor Evan, and after resting the plush next to him, William is given the news that Evan will be dead shortly. William
Not
holds
letting that
Evan's
close. Don't be
hands,
this-
the same way the Fredbear plush was at his other. Within Evan's coma, the clock
Yeah,
runs
my
6
name
a.m.
is really
He shut his
kind of a
eyes
joke.
and reopened them to see the
I-
plush Fredbear, who was like his closest friend, and the 4 plush animatronics behind it. In the real world, Michael said his goodbyes first. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
just
Michael left William to be alone with Evan. William said his final words to Evan, saying, "You're broken.
Alright.
We're still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here.
Bye.
I'll put you back together." And William cried while holding Evan and the Fredbear plush.
Let's do it. Let's do
Within
it.
Evan's coma, he watched the Fredbear
Alright,
plush
get ready,
disappear
man.
in
Easy
front of
one
him
phase.
and cried for one more time before shutting his eyes. William got up and walked out of the room, hearing the sound of Evan's own heartbeat flatline.
God damn, that's sad. Right.
Right.
Fucking flatline.
Fredbear's family diner closes instantly.
Punch,
The police
do
still
something.
suspect William for the missing children's incident, which
I
causes
not get it? I
Henry
didn't
to
get it.
consider cutting ties
Oh.
with William while continuing the Fazbear brand. William has lost
Outbreak.
2 of his children to his own creations, causing
Get
his
'em.
wife to become
didn't
emotionally
get the mod?
unstable,
I mean, yeah.
leaving him.
Nope.
And with all
Oh,
of
that
this,
was
all of
Buns.
this,
What the fuck?
William begins
Yeah, I didn't
his
have my-
descent into madness.
That's alright.
We'll just kill her the next go.
Alright. Perfect.
I get shot, I'm dead.
Oh, fucking sniping bitch.
So many days is yet to
Hey, okay.
Okay, this is where big damage needs to come.
come to pass. Too many moments put aside. Getting out alive. Getting out alive.
Come on, we
Come
got
on,
it.
man. Yeah.
Despite
Let's
the
go.
We
number
got
of
this
partners
shit.
and other
Bitch.
losses of death
Easy.
in the
Come
game
on.
of Poncha. The small remote
The
city
streak
surrounded by
continues.
mountains has an ongoing mystery with a twisted, dark story that's continuing to be unraveled. What really happened at
Oh.
Fredbear's? Where did all
Boots
those
and a
children really
helmet.
go? Most importantly, what's next?
Bro,
for Fazbear's
ain't no way
Entertainment?
they just gave me a
Henry
Storm
Emily thought for
Chaser
days,
Oh
weeks,
shit!
the
How can the business
same
possibly
exact
come back
shit
from this?
as
Bro,
my
How can we
other.
fix all those issues and bring
I got
people
clown
in?
card
There were so
cartridge
many
and
problems with the
rampage
previous location. To
On
name a
what?
few, the
He
Spring
wins.
Lawsuits
On
failed
Storm
massively,
Chaser.
killing
He
William
wins.
Child and
Yeah.
being an extremely
that good
or
bad
not?
story to begin with.
Rampage kind of sucks for linears,
Oh yeah, your rampages.
especially that one. That
We got close.
that's kind of. That is a boss damage weapon. That is not an ad clearing weapon.
Yep.
Rampage is good for like primaries and shit. Ad clearing.
I am astonished.
Oh yeah, plus it goes away when you reload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am astonished.
Well,
by the
it doesn't. It just doesn't have a long enough time for you to reload and get. So you're probably gonna get like one shot in.
Like the most useless perk. Okay, I guess you know it's
On linear fusion, that perks. Well,
Hey man, let's see the damage. Okay. I feel like they should reward like 4 items instead of 2.
They
Just do
decided
more
would be plastic looking
speed up.
At
animatronics,
this point.
which weren't Springlock suits, but a normal suit with an endoskeleton inside, with fully functional fingers, wedge-shaped feet, eyelashes,
Dude, this
and facial
guy's mic
appearances
is
reminiscent
so
of a
shit.
ventriloquist doll. They also wanted to include some new, unique, different animatronics to the brand, which they eventually created. A smaller, childlike animatronic, which the children could relate to. Unlike the animatronics, this is more human-looking. This animatronic held a sign in one hand, saying exactly what was being held in the other. This animatronic was called Balloon Boy. Now only 2 problems remain. William and
Not Balloon
security,
Boy.
which Henry vowed to solve on his own, as
Balloon
in
Boy
his
to
mind,
G, bro.
only he could do it right. Upon
He'd be
thinking
laughing
over
in your
several
face
days
and
while his
shit.
company worked on this new location, which would be at Junior's to Fredbear's, he knew William could not be attached to the company anymore. Having a man thought to be the murderer of 5 children, co-owning the restaurant, no, even being in their team would be the worst look for the children's entertainment company with their specific demographic. So, Henry would need to sort some sort of security. Some sort of way to allow everyone in, but keep William out. After several nights of coming up with different ideas, he eventually settled on one. A facial recognition system. If a human's eyes met with the toy animatronics, with the right designing and coding, they would be able to tell whether you were William or not. There was no doubts this wouldn't work, so Henry began making and then putting his idea into motion. Henry wanted nothing more than the safety of his customers. He wouldn't want to lose all those kids and watch all their lives be taken away. And unlike William, this brought a thought to his mind. He thought of his darling daughter Charlotte, or Charlie for short, and made sure that just in case the facial recognition failed, his daughter would be safe no matter.
Jesus.
Henry loved showing Charlie his work and would love bringing her in the locations. But as soon as the missing children's incident occurred, he was always unsure of bringing her to the locations, or even just letting her anywhere near the creations. So, he created an animatronic that sat in a box, was held by strings like a marionette, and would specifically look out for Charlie, and protect her with security as its main priority. He called this animatronic the Puppet. Frustration, agony, instability. These emotions are what the psychotic monster that was William Afton himself felt. Elizabeth first, now Evan. His wife became unstable, but what about him? The night of Evan's death, William went back to the now closed Fredbear's. He looked coldly at the animatronic that had murdered his son. William was filled with
what's that
rage
sword
and
called?
wanted nothing more than to see Fredbear fall, so he grabbed whatever he could and began demolishing Fredbear. Ever so slightly, with each hit, the life was being drained out of the Springlock suit's eyes until it was a pile of animatronic dump in the same state as the work-in-progress animatronics. Destroyed or not, the damage Fredbear caused had already been done. The damage Michael caused. William blamed Michael for taking it too far, for causing Evan to cry inside the suit's mouth, causing Fredbear to kill him. Hatred filled William's veins. hatred towards Michael that went so far that William wished it were him who got killed by Fredbear. After the longest weeks of William's life, he heard news of a new location run by Fazbear's Entertainment opening, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Upon learning the news, his adrenaline spiked. William thought he paid for what he did to those kids with the loss of 2 of his own, so maybe now he would have some luck. This was his chance at a comeback, a possible distraction from everything, an escape from the pain and a glimpse into the light. William drove to this new location, Henry waiting his arrival at the front door. William got out of his car and headed towards his new opportunity.
Come on, you know you can't be here. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be.
William's excitement turned into shock, his stomach screaming thanks to what felt like a gunshot.
Henry, we're the co-owners of this franchise.
William says in confusion.
Where?
William mutters.
Are you kidding me? After everything.
You mean after everything you caused, which you're responsible for, including killing those innocent kids?
William opened his mouth to deny.
Don't even. We can all see the truth in between the lines, William.
Henry, I need this. After all that's happened to me, I've suffered long enough.
You're not the victim here, William. I started this shit from scratch with my bare fucking
Yeah,
hands. I'm not risking you tearing all that hardware
Hey,
down
cursing.
and hurting more innocent people.
Before we start,
William expresses to
put the
Henry
banner
that,
down
Business
and
will
let's
fail
get a
without
triangle
me.
or like
I
a
need
circle.
to come back.
and without hesitation, Henry sends William away once more.
Everybody,
Please.
hold on, everybody, hold on.
Please leave the premises.
Alright, look.
And with a
I don't give a
misleading
fuck
grin on his
how long
face,
it's gonna
William
take. I don't care if
complies.
it's gonna take a
He gets
year,
into his
5
car
months,
and drives
2
away
hours, a
slowly.
minute.
Henry
We're
won the
gonna get
argument
our
and stands
fucking
with joy
website.
as he
I don't
finally
give a
sees
fuck.
relief
We
that
got
he's
this
gotten the
shit,
final problem
Alright.
out of the way
On
and
three,
can now
say,
begin to move forward.
Say,
Okay,
I don't got confidence.
yeah,
Let's go.
okay.
William raced dangerously down the streets, fueled with rage. He thought for the entire drive home what to do next, until suddenly he got that feeling he felt ages ago, that strange, unnerving urge to kill, and within seconds William thought of the perfect target. Charlotte
Wait,
Emily
what
was
am
the
I-
daughter of Henry, and who
son.
William now wanted to get
It's
rid
kinda
of.
scary, bro.
The words echoed in his head,
Everything you caused, which you're responsible for.
but now
Ready?
his daughter
Aye.
would die
The-
because of him.
the mic
Frustration,
quality.
agony, instability, all what Henry deserved to feel in William's
can't
mind.
get over it.
But unlike Fredbear's, this would be extremely difficult to kill anyone, as there's
God, I
an entire
cannot
new
land a
security
persistent
system in
spot on
place
these
against
fucking
William
dogs.
specifically, and to make it harder, specifically
fucking
to
die, bro.
protect his daughter. The puppet would be out of its box, keeping Charlie safe before William even got close to
I
the
guess,
door. William
me
thought
second.
What?
planning what he would
Huh?
do and how to avoid this issue with the puppet,
I
know.
which is when
50 seconds in,
realization
come on.
popped into his head. The puppet is dependent on the box being open,
Alright,
so what if the box was closed shut, essentially trapping
time is
the
fine, our
puppet
time is fine.
inside? William played the situation out
Alright,
in
cup.
his head over and over. If Charlie leaves the pizzeria while the puppet is trapped inside, then who would be there to see him grabbing her and murdering her in cold blood? No one. This was when he crafted his plan and the next day put it in motion.
We're speed
One
running.
night, a group of bullies
Oh.
trapped the security puppet in its box, and coincidentally, Charlie was stuck outside Freddy's. Preparation met its opportunity as
Damn.
Charlie tried to run away to find a
was a
way
really
to
bad
escape,
place.
until a car pulled beside the alley and a man got out of it. Charlie ran to
don't
William
have
as
any
she
much.
knew who he was after the many times Henry and William met with her there. Charlie grinned until William pulled something from behind his back. William killed Charlie in the alleyway outside of Freddy's. Her body
Almost
lay
nice.
numb in the
Are we?
rain.
No, we're not.
He thought to dispose of the body and get rid of any evidence, but it was hailing down with the rain. The fingerprints would be cleared off, so he felt no need. So
Come on,
he walks
boys.
away and gets into his car, driving off happier
Alright,
than
shoot
ever.
that bitch.
The revenge was bittersweet. Now Henry would finally pay for
Let's
turning
go.
William away and making his
I take
life
out the middle,
even
guys.
more of a hassle.
Or
The
the middle
puppet
of
knocked its box wide open.
Try and
and knew
stay
where Charlie
towards the
had
middle so
gotten
we can
to.
get to.
Its only mission being to protect her and bring her back
Oh, right,
inside.
right,
Going
right,
right,
It went
right.
outside and tried to get to her,
Thank you.
but kept breaking
Generator
down due to the
for
heavy
pushing
rain.
me all the way over
It
here.
found Charlie, and upon seeing its mission was a failure, it rested by her and wouldn't move.
Oh, nah. Nah, no one saw that.
Big damage right here.
Henry couldn't find her. Neither could the police. This was all
Big
too
damage,
familiar.
big damage.
Another missing child.
Big
Henry
damage.
went to look for the puppet, her protector, and
Yeah.
found its box
that pressure,
pushed
man.
wide open.
With
He
that
then
pressure,
went
oh,
outside
shit.
and found its body lying dead on the ground. It was damaged, and there was something next
We're
to
going-
it,
where are we
which
going?
Henry
Middle?
immediately knew who it
Left.
was. Henry wasn't stupid. He knew it was William who did this. Nights after he was pushed away, Henry was enraged and began thinking whether the business should close or not. But no, he would be proving William right if he did that. So instead, Henry goes on a well-deserved break and lets his team continue working on the location in his absence. This was becoming interesting for William.
Alright.
How many more times could he kill and get away with
Easy,
it?
dude.
He had his eyes set on Freddy's and decided to do a rerun of his biggest killing
Over
spree,
here.
causing another missing children's incident to occur. He knew all the old suits were being transferred.
How long?
into
How
this
long? How
new
many seconds? How many
location,
seconds?
So he knew exactly
3 minutes and
how to
20
enter
seconds.
without
Bet
setting
that.
off the
This
animal.
is so funny.
3 minutes 20 seconds. Let's fucking
He
go.
found it in the parts and services room and put it on.
Oh, I got shit
One
gun. Oh
night,
yeah, shit,
William
shit.
ran
Ah, and I
into
got
William's
pure
suit,
dog
killing
shit for
another
it.
5
Fucking
kids.
dickhead, bro.
Let's go.
Oh, it's shit. It's shit.
The
They
puppet.
playing.
3 minutes.
What the
Wait.
fuck?
I think it's our fastest, bro. Not gonna lie.
Alright, well, that's the time to beat.
3.
Ski. I'm a little bit scared. He's a little scared.
And don't be ready. So, wait.
Don't worry, man. I'm here for you. Only like a 12-hour later.
Go.
How long is this sound gonna go on for? Jesus Christ.
The original children killed by William back in Fredbear's were back, now possessing the work-in-progress animatronics that they were originally stuffed in,
Stuffed in
their
some-
spirits being
oh.
able to stay there as long as they did thanks to their corpses attaching to the endoskeleton. Evan himself, William's child, was given a second chance in Fredbear,
Bless you.
which William had put his body into
You're
not
welcome.
long ago, trying to put him back together and make his body fuse with the animatronics'. Now, with the help of the reanimated animatronics, the puppet gives the recently killed children a second chance, but this time within the toy animatronics and Balloon Boy. This was unheard of. Animatronics coming to life, fusing dead children's souls into the suits. How did this even work? Many questions would be asked, and they would most likely be experimented on and given to the government or something huge like that. But the thing is, no one even knew. The animatronics acted how they did originally, but now their goals were to simply find their killer and finish him off for good. Each night they would see if the night shift worker was William and would continuously travel to their office to see so. The company dismissed this as
are they just
abnormal and
misunderstood?
claimed to understand.
They are, bro.
Second
They're
guard to work at that
misunderstood.
location. The first guy finished his week, but
Stuff,
complained
bro.
about conditions.
They
we
probably
switched
don't they
him over
tear
to
you
day
apart
shift.
though? Even
So,
after
hey,
they
lucky
see you.
right? Mainly he
That's all right.
expressed concern that certain characters seemed
You
to
know
move
what? You
around
can't
at
blame him.
night, and even
Thanks,
attempted
bro.
to get into his office.
It was.
Now, from what we
Imagine
know,
being
it
in
a robot, like
that
fucking.
restaurant should be the safest
Yeah, they were
place
caught in
on
the
Earth.
moment.
So while our engineers don't really have an explanation
They thought they
for
had
this,
him.
the working theory is
Facts.
that the robots were never given a proper night mode.
Perfect
so when it
alibi.
gets quiet,
I killed him
they
but
think
because
they're
I
in the
thought he
wrong
was
room.
someone else.
So then they go try to
Wait.
find where the people are, and in this
Okay,
case,
so
that's your office.
who's Golden
During
Freddy
this,
then?
the bullies
Like-
that helped trip
like,
the puppet kept
is that
screaming
another,
at animatronics in the pizzeria.
Yeah,
This
kid that
time
got
it was
shoved in?
Mangle.
The-
They ripped its
they're all
original
kids,
suit to
I'm pretty
pieces until
sure.
it was a connected pile of scraps. The animatronic was dismantled daily by these kids, and the staff eventually stopped repairing it. The animatronics
Alright.
were getting angry,
me a
causing them
second.
to behave differently towards adults and staff members. But one day, Mangle became more unstable when it was once again dismantled and bit down on one of the kids and caused the loss of the frontal lobe of the victim's brain.
Alright.
All of
Got
the
that
toy
timer?
animatronics were scrapped
Yeah,
due to
3,
apparent
2,
malfunctions, more specifically
It
this
is.
bite from Mangle. In the same time, the second missing children's incident had also began to
Sun
come to
and
light,
up.
and eventually the building was put into lockdown for now to avoid any more casualties.
From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, you know. We're
Already?
going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down.
On this day, they tracked Henry down, and he went back to work, but not for the good reasons Henry hoped he'd come back for. Fazbear Entertainment held a meeting with the entire team, and they eventually decided to shut the location down and work on a smaller location with no security system animatronics. Just simple singing and dancing animatronics like Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. The animatronics would be made by Henry to avoid any incidents or bugs with the animatronics. And for
Alright,
weeks
dog.
on end, Henry worked and repaired the
Another one.
work-in-progress suits and brought them to life. Freddy Fazbear would be the main driver of the restaurant, with Bonnie the Bunny, Chicky the Chicken, and Foxy the Pirate Fox tagging along. William's wife opened the door and was surprised to see him. William instantly raises the point that he hates Michael and he wants her to take him or else he'll throw him out to the streets. They argue. He doesn't want to be in his son's life. For a bad reason, being a bad dad, or a good reason, protecting him as everything near William falls, is unclear. After what felt like an hour, William decides he's done with the argument and storms off to swing his car goalless. William's wife, now sick of hearing what he has to say, begins to shout and scream that he...
He's good, we're good.
Blood came from her stomach and she watches William stare as she falls to the ground, passing out, never to awaken again. He drags her body to the car and puts her inside of it, slamming the boot shut. William begins work with Circus Baby sitting across from him. William made Baby to lure, capture and kill kids, and unfortunately Elizabeth fell to his own creation, but with nothing else to lose. Why stop at one freak show? During the late hours of the night, William created his next two animatronics, Funtime Freddy and Funtime Foxy, both with different ways of luring children and killing them.
Fucking die.
Both animatronics had a white and purple color code. Funtime Freddy looked like Toy Freddy,
right.
a speaker on its chest below its black bow tie. Funtime Freddy holds a Bonnie plushie figure William would call Bon Bon in his right hand. Funtime Foxy looked exactly like put together Mangle, but with a large tail and, much like Freddy, a speaker on its chest. William also made a third animatronic that night, Ballora, a ballerina that would spin and sing. William based this animatronic not on luring nor capturing, but on containing and storing his wife, which is who the animatronic was based off in the first place. Between animatronic builds, William made smaller animatronics like Bon Bon for fun, such as Bitty Babs and Mini Arenas. With these main four animatronics with their own AI systems, William opened a new location, but not one that could be seen so easily with an outsider's view. An underground location where outsiders or customers could rent out and have the animatronics at their birthday parties as a special delivery of surprise. This new location would go on to be called Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals. After the long few years since Evan's death in 1983, William sat in his office and used to monitor Evan and looked at his child's bedroom, eventually turning the lights off to see his reflection. The reflection of a broken man descending further down his rabbit hole of madness. But instead of looking away out of shame, he grins
Storm Chaser with
realization.
Demolitionist. Why?
It's not good. Nope.
Almost a year after
trash.
Fazbear Entertainment closed Freddy's, the company opened up a new location to the public, Freddy Fazbear's
Getting rewarded
Pizzeria,
with our
but new. The rivalry between
of
William and Henry continues with William's location's grand opening. Michael is abandoned and unsure where to go next. But beside all of this, unknowingly to William, the animatronics are now possessed. Worst of all, some containing his own family, such as Circus Baby, Fredbear, and Ballora. The animatronics are angry, hungry for blood, trying to find their killer and out for nothing but cold-hearted revenge.
That's all one video.
Oh, never mind. This is Destiny.
William sneaks
audio.
into Freddy's and begins walking towards the animatronics. William starts to head towards what has become of his creations with only one goal in his unstable mind.
I don't think we're gonna beat the free throw. Yeah, gotta try though.
This game. No, we can't. We just gotta damage him we just gotta kill him in like one or two fails.
Eternal
I'm gonna try
cage.
this.
William knew something was wrong with the robots from the start. He knew the children were still in there. Now free of their prison, the children were angry, staring at the one who took their lives away prematurely. They headed towards William in anger, and he ran to something that would hopefully scare the vengeful spirits away. William laughed and sat in the spring bunny suit as the spirits stared at him, remembering their final day.
What? Are you scared of the funny bunny?
William queried the spirits, who all looked up to the roof. The room they were in was unfinished and only meant for some employees, mainly just Henry, and the room was also off any cameras so no one could see what was happening inside of them. The whole area was built poorly and there wasn't much inside of it, but thanks to the heat of the room, the frozen condensation dripped from the roof slowly, maybe a drop of water per 2 seconds. This wouldn't be a problem if William didn't forget the basic rules of a springlock suit. Springlocks and water can't coexist. The springlock suit malfunctioned and sprung into its usual position, and William fell within his creation with blood piling all around him. He pleaded the spirits for help, begging for his life to be spared, but the spirits went away, out of William's sight. On this day, Henry stepped into the building, hearing the shouts of an old friend. He ran to see what happened, only to see William inside the spring bunny suit, blood covering it whole.
William?
please.
Upon hearing he was there, Henry thought he would die thanks to blood loss, so he walked out the room with that thought and slammed it shut. He considered that maybe karma had finally come for William.
Please! Jesus Christ, bro.
Why is he so angry?
Over time, Henry covered the entrance to the safe rooms until there was no possible way to get inside or even know the room was there. But unfortunately, the damage done to the animatronic was too much for Henry to fix quickly, and not just putting them back together will help. People were complaining about the foul smells coming from the animatronics as their suits haven't been fully open for years. William meddling with their suits caused a lot of bad press for the franchise. William dying, the animatronics broken, everyone he knew being dead. If it wasn't too much for Henry before, it's too much now. It began to overwhelm Henry and he was struggling to keep this franchise alive. So, in the year of 1993, Henry shut Freddy's for the final time, not planning to ever open another location in the franchise. But there was one thing Henry couldn't forget and push aside so easily: his daughter. He had this feeling that his daughter was somehow inside the puppet. He had no idea how or why she would be, but he feels Charlie inside of it, and it's the only one that he couldn't find when destroying the toy animatronics. At the time, he thought maybe someone stole it, which, since he was going to destroy it anyways, it wouldn't be a big deal. But maybe Charlie pushed the puppet away or something like that. He didn't know. He sounded insane, even to himself. But he wouldn't let the chance slip past, so he created a new animatronic he'd called Lefty, which stood for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. That looked like a black version of Toy Freddy, but was created for a completely different purpose, capturing and finding the puppet and possibly destroying it to free Charlie's soul. William going missing wasn't too much of a surprise to Michael, as his father always goes missing throughout the night or during the day. But as time passed and the weeks went by, Michael began to realize his father's absence was getting progressively longer and longer. He goes to Henry to ask if he knows where William has gone to, which Henry denies and tells Michael to look at the other locations his father works at. So, Michael traveled to the only other location open at the time that his father owns: Circus Babies, Entertainment, and Rentals. Going down the elevator, Michael thinks of everything that's happened. He blamed himself daily for the loss of his younger brother Evan, never forgiving himself no matter what his mother said to him during the nights of tears and breakdowns. Obviously, he knew Elizabeth had died, but he was never once told how. He couldn't ask his mother after the divorce and William's advice to stay away from her. He knew William knew how Elizabeth died, but he never mentioned that to him, nor asked William how it happened. Maybe now, after his father's disappearance, Michael could find him and finally ask what happened to her and get some sort of closure. The doors of the elevator opened suddenly, and Michael went towards the primary control module. This is when he realized something. Michael lost enough already. He would do anything to find his father, even if it meant he was mistaken for a late-night technician. Hiding under a desk, hiding from animatronics, hunting in the dark, and fixing broken animatronics, with some much-needed advice, of course, was an insane thing to do. Michael was about to give up on this location on the third night, until Michael was afraid inside the scooping room. He was stuck inside a springlock suit, the same type he watched his brother get brutally murdered inside of. He almost fainted until he was given the reminder not to activate the springlocks. Circus Baby goes on to tell Michael what the room really is about, a machine called the Scooper. But before Baby can begin explaining, two technicians went inside the room.
252?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got 2 LMGs.
Okay, stop.
I got...
Set it down.
Yo.
Oh, you got it?
I got, stability, whatever. But I got perpetual motion, Desperado. Perfect.
Good shit. He wins, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
We just get this over with.